What's going on, and welcome to SPN Lineups. We are promoters for CryptoFantasySports.com, Billy D, and Starfulse. Check us out on Twitter at SPN Lineups, and you can find our videos on Facebook and Instagram at No Limit Fantasy Sports. Today, we're talking NBA. Check out CryptoFantasySports.com. We have our very own tournament, the SPN Lineup Special. We run it every day. It's free to enter, and the winner gets $10 in No Limit coin. The catch is you have to include the player I'll be naming later in the show on your roster in order to be eligible for that prize. Last night's winner, Jordan, is one. Finished in 4th place, but he was the top team with that player. Will Barton, I believe, was our player of the day last year. And this Jordan guy is tearing up NBA, kind of like somebody else I knew back in the day. Make sure to leave us a comment with your NLC2 address, Mr. Jordan, and we'll get that prize sent to you. You can sign up to Crypto Fantasy Sports using the links below for exclusive bonuses. Steve, get us caught up, brother.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the screen right now, I think you probably got a hunch at who we're going to start off with for last night's top scoring players. Who you got, Philly?
Trey Burke, 65.25 fantasy points. He was 84.5% owned on DraftKings. He returned 13.6x value. Maybe pumped up that the Michigan Wolverines, are in the Final Four?
That's it. And I think he's probably got some good stuff running through his blood with that. Yeah. We got Marc Gasol, 54.5. He was only 2.8% owned, and he came back with 7.5x value. And I may have told you to stay away from him last night, but that ownership percentage means there really wasn't any compelling reason to roster him last night. But sometimes you get lucky.
Lonzo Ball, 46.5 fantasy points. He was 22% owned, 5.9x value. All right, now let's hold off with the Jason Kidd comparisons. I mean, he had a good game, but his salary, his price tag is so high, you didn't even get the 6x value you're looking for.
Much more disappointing, though, was Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, he did have 46, which is actually a pretty solid game, but at his price tag, it was only 4.9 value. Ouch. I actually watched that game despite, I don't know why I end up watching Memphis Grizzlies games. I got something wrong with me. But Minnesota looked really off last night, and Towns just didn't seem very aggressive. He was pretty pass first, which is good a lot of the time, but not in the fourth quarter when your team's down to a G League squad plus Marc Gasol.
We got Al Horford, a 45.75 fantasy points. Surprisingly, 25% owned. He returned 7.3x value, and I got to admit, I'm surprised by the 25% ownership, but it's a good sign heading towards the playoffs. Horford is talented, but Boston's been running different schemes, different guys, and now they got Greg Monroe in the mix. It's just a sticky situation moving forward for me.
So how about the best values from last night? I think I know how this one's going to start too.
Obviously, Trey Burke at 13.6. Wow. But it was one of those weird nights where even if you had him, it really meant nothing because everybody had him. But if you didn't have him, you pretty much put yourself in the lost column. He was actually 100% owned on $400 NBA contest on DraftKings. The 400 NBA switch on DK is just incredible. 100% owned, never seen it before.
I haven't either. I mean, this was a short slate, but not that short. I was actually kind of joking when I said he was going to be 80% owned, but whatever. Tyler Eulis. Who? Yeah. 12.2 value last night. This kind of came out of nowhere, and he was only 3.7% owned. But on teams like Phoenix, it's just kind of roll the dice every night, especially with Booker and TJ Warren out. You never know who's going to step up, though I think this probably is more of a one-off for Eulis.
Wayne Selden, 9.8x. Steve did mention him a couple days ago, and he said he was looking the best out of a bad bunch, and he definitely stepped up big last night. I think personally he may have a few more nights like this down the stretch.
A pair of names from yesterday's value list turned in 7x. Point guard Reggie Jackson and shooting guard Troy Daniels. Jackson's going to keep getting more minutes from here, so expect his price tag to go up, and you might not even see him on the value list anymore because it has to be 5,000 or under. Daniels should get similar opportunities as long as Devin Booker's out, but don't see a really high ceiling for him.
Markelle Fultz made his surprise return for the 76ers last night after the crowd demanded him to be put in the game. This year's past #1 pick looked like he still had a little bit a couple issues with his jumper, but was able to pick up 26.5 fantasy points in only 14 minutes, helped by, of course, 8 assists and 4 rebounds. Basically, he passed the ball to Riddick 8 times and who shot threes like it was a good game. It'll be interesting to see him, see how they use him down the stretch. But if his price stays low, I think if his production stays the same, which I personally don't think is possible, he might be worth the risk.
And we've got a few guys who had the highest ownership rates from yesterday, other than Trey Burke, of course, because we've talked about him way too much.
Trey Burke, no. Julius Randle's 39.5% owned. He managed just under 40 fantasy points for a 5x.
His teammate Kyle Kuzma was 37.5% owned, but in my lineups it was more like 80%. He turned in 36.25 points, which isn't great, not bad. I mean, it was 5.3x. Whatever, we move on.
Ben Simmons, 36% owned, 42.75 fantasy points. Incredible because he scored 7 points. Only returned to 4.9x.
So imagine the potential he has when he gets a 20-25 point night. Scary. Nikola Jokic, 34.5% owned, so a lot of other people were on the same train that I was last night, but that train derailed off the tracks. 32.25 points in a woeful 3.8x. Ugh.
Yeah, he had 20 points at half, and Denver fell apart last night. It was terrible.
So tonight we are looking at Cleveland at Miami. Now the line on this one's 221.5. So LeBron's going to be taking his talents to South Beach tonight, and where Adebayo and Whiteside are out. So I would say this should be more opportunity for Olynyk and James Johnson.
Yeah, speaking of tonight's slate, we got 8 games, 7 p.m. Eastern start time. San Antonio and Washington, the line's 202. John Wall and Kawhi Leonard still out. Satoransky and DeJounte Murray are both around 5.5K of point guard. Beal might be worth a look at 7,400. It's come down a little bit. LaMarcus Aldridge on the other end is going up 9,200. So for him to hit the 6x, he needs a score of 55 fantasy points. I'm on the fence about him.
We got Portland at New Orleans, and the line on this game is 222, which is pretty good. And this game's special to me because the score on the TV is going to say porno all night. I am just a teenager at heart. Rondo and Mirotic are questionable still, so keep an eye on their status because it could mean very big things for Jrue Holiday. A high-scoring game expected here, like the 222 line suggests. I'm not really sold on paying up for Lillard at 9,200 or AD at, like 11,000. I didn't even bother to look. It's too high. But Jrue Holiday's 7,700, and CJ McCollum is up quite a bit from the last time we took him. But at 7,500, he's still pretty good. He's returned a couple 40s in a row.
We got Denver at Toronto. Line is 225.5. Gonna be lots of scoring. Lowry at 82. Jamal Murray 6,600. DeRozan 7,600. Barton 7,000. Chandler at 5,200. Millsap at 5,700. Jokic at 8,800. You could just stack the game pretty easily. Raptors coming off a pretty embarrassing loss, so I expect them to put the pedal to the metal tonight.
Don't forget, too, the Raptors have pretty much the best bench in the NBA, and I'll get to that later with some value picks, but just wanted to seed that thought in your head.
Planting seeds.
Milwaukee at the Clippers. Another game that's pretty high up there, 225 line. So Lou Williams has been on fire lately, and he's not cheap at 7,800, but he should fire up plenty of shots in this game. Now here's kind of an interesting thought. DeAndre Jordan, he's up to 8,000, but Milwaukee is the absolute worst rebounding team in the league. And they're also the team that gives up like tons of points to guys that you've never heard of. And DeAndre Jordan, he's put up a 20-20 a few times already this season, like we told you about last week. Now, Greek Freak, he has a hefty price tag at 10.3K, but I'm considering building around him today since there's a few good value picks today.
Yeah, the salary's actually down for him about 1,000. We got Indiana and Golden State. Line is 201. The line is 201, and I'm still taking the under. Draymond Green, he'll be back for Golden State after a midsection contusion, whatever that is.
He got shanked.
Yeah, but they're still missing the big boys, Curry, Durant, and Clay. Quinn Cook, a little expensive. Looking at Nick Young, maybe you hit the value picks.
We might talk about him a little later. You never know.
Okay.
Now, Bulls at the Rockets. No Harden, no Capella. The Bulls don't have Dunn, Levine, and they're probably going to be without Valentine and Markkanen. So you're definitely going to want to clarify the statuses, especially on those last two, as it could mix things up a lot for the Bulls. Keep an eye on our Twitter. I'll keep you updated as things get closer. Hard to really make a determination on this game, but when I get to the value picks, you'll see what I got for you.
Dallas at Sacramento. The line is 202. It's probably illegal to watch this game due to torture laws in most countries. Both these teams are exceptionally well at being bad. And, I mean, I got really nothing. Steve and I were both looking at this game and just, what do we say? Like, we shouldn't even have talked about it.
I challenge one person to stay awake through this entire game. I don't think it's possible. But anyways, we got some value picks for you. And we're starting off, you can see there's a lot of names on this list, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on each guy. The first couple guys, George Hill and Fred VanVleet, have definitely been known to put up scores in the 30s and are getting about 28 to 32 minutes.
Point guard, Patty Mills, 4,600 for San Antonio. Looking to get that hole tonight.
The luck of the Irish.
Yes.
Corey Joseph and DeLon Wright, they're both pretty cheap, and I think they're both good for about 25 tonight. Now, Nick Young, with Golden State decimated, he's going to be a pretty popular value pick tonight, but he's the type of guy that doesn't really contribute across the board much other than points, so he's just going to need to score 25 or something just to even be relevant tonight. Now, on the other hand, a guy who used to be like that but has kind of developed some extra stuff to his game, Gerald Green. Without Harden tonight, I mean, he turned in 40.5 last game out with Harden. So without Harden, I'm thinking around the same thing. Normally, Rodney Hood, Tyler Johnson, they would both be really good picks, but when Gerald Green is that price, I'm going to kind of defer to him today. Joe Johnson, roll the dice, take a risk, who knows, 20, 25 points for 3,800. Now, Maurice Harkless, this is a guy that usually doesn't really have a lot of scoring prowess, but at 4,400, he's been putting in work lately. Rip City is real, and Harkless is coming to play.
Small forward Justice Winslow makes the value list tonight. 4,300 for Miami.
Too many Urkels on your team, that's why your Winslow. Noah Vonleh, 4,800. This is going to be pretty dependent on Markkanen being out. If Markkanen's out, that is not red anymore. That's a green. Go play him. If Markkanen plays, I wouldn't play him. Same thing with the other two guys down there. Check Diallo. He's 4,000 for New Orleans. He's been getting a couple, about 25 minutes lately and doing decent stuff with him.
Power forward Pascal Siakam. 3,900 for Toronto. I was watching this game the other night, this disappointing game. Indeed, Steve was mentioning the bench for Toronto is very talented, and I saw some talent on this guy. Shooting, rebounding, nice pass. I mean, basically Lowry was setting him up to not fail. So he at 3,900, I like him.
I have one of his autograph cards. It's like super serial numbered low, so I'd love for him to get good so the value on that thing goes up.
Yeah.
Power forward Ryan Anderson, 3,800. This is actually my pick of the night. Without Clint Capella in the lineup, I see no reason why he can't get 25 or 30 minutes. And then also without Harden in the lineup too, he's going to get a lot more shots. So at 3,800, I don't think there's almost any risk involved. I fully expect him to turn 30, 35 in tonight. And he might be pretty highly owned. Not Trey Burke status, but close. Few centers, all of them kind of risky in a way. Gortat and Felicio, both the same price. I expect kind of 25-ish out of each of them. Not really super appealing, but I wanted to throw some names on here to fill it out. And then JaVale McGee is extremely risky because sometimes he'll play 8 minutes a game, but he's also one of the more lovable players in the pros, and the crowd really gets behind him. He gets pumped up when he plays. So I'm thinking with Golden State completely decimated tonight, he might get at least 15 minutes, and he's been known to put up 25-30 in those 15 minutes.
Finally, the SPN lineup special player of the day. Make sure to have him in your roster for the SPN lineup special tournament for your chance at $10 in no limit coin. Tonight's player of the day is from Golden State. Can you take a guess who it could possibly be? Power forward, 8,400, Draymond Green. Get him in your lineup tonight. Make sure to check out our Twitter tonight, SPN lineups for injuries, news, and updates. Going to be important tonight. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Leave us a comment. Subscribe to the channel. Share the love. Share the video. Check out CryptoFantasySports.com and all the links below. Good luck, and we'll see you tomorrow.